To understand why I sued my neighbor for $500,000, you have to understand the trees. My property isn't just a plot of land, it's a legacy. My grandfather bought these 5 acres in 1920. He planted a row of white oaks, Quercus alba, along the northern ridge. Over the last century, those saplings grew into titans. We're talking 60 feet high, with canopies so thick they created their own microclimate. As a kid, I climbed them. As an adult and a certified master arborist, I studied them. They were the lungs of my home. They provided shade, privacy, and a barrier against the wind. They were perfect. Until he moved in. Mr. Sterling, a real estate developer from the city who bought the old farmhouse next door. He didn't want a home, he wanted a portfolio asset. He knocked down the farmhouse and built a modern glass and steel monstrosity that looked like an Apple store dropped in the middle of the woods. The first time we met, he didn't say hello. He walked up to the property line, chewing on an unlit cigar, and pointed at my oaks. "Hey, buddy," he shouted, "those trees are a problem." I walked over, wiping dirt from my hands. "Excuse me?" "They block the lake view from my second-floor balcony," he said, like it was an obvious design flaw. "I'm gonna have my guys take them down next week. I'll cover the cost, obviously." I felt a cold spike in my chest. "No," I said, "those trees are on my property. They're healthy, and they're not going anywhere." Sterling laughed. It was a dry, condescending sound. "Everything has a price, kid. Don't be an idiot. I'm offering to clean up your yard for free. You should be thanking me." "The answer is no," I repeated, looking him in the eye. "Do not touch them." He stared at me for a long moment, then shrugged. "We'll see," he muttered, turning his back. I should have known then. "We'll see" wasn't a dismissal. It was a threat. 2 months later, I had to go out of town for an arboriculture conference in Seattle. I was gone for 7 days. I remember the drive home. It was a beautiful Tuesday afternoon, but as I turned onto my gravel driveway, something felt wrong. The light was different. Usually, my driveway is a tunnel of cool green shade. Today, it was bright, blindingly bright. My stomach dropped. I slammed the brakes and ran to the backyard. I stopped dead. The silence was the first thing that hit me. No birds, no rustling leaves. Then the smell, the overpowering scent of fresh sap and sawdust. My 5 ancient oaks were gone. They weren't just trimmed, they were butchered. Massive stumps, jagged and raw, sat in a sea of sawdust. The ground was torn up by heavy machinery tracks, skid steers that had dragged the carcasses of my grandfather's legacy across the lawn. I looked up. There was Mr. Sterling on his balcony, glass of wine in hand, enjoying his new panoramic view of the lake. He saw me. He raised his glass in a mock toast. "Much better, right? Opens up the whole space." I didn't yell. I called the police immediately. But this is the part that drives people crazy. The officer who arrived looked at the stumps, then at the property line. "Look," the officer said, closing his notebook. "He says he thought they were on your side. You say they're on yours. Without a surveyor right here, I can't arrest him for vandalism. This is a civil matter. You'll have to sue him." Sterling watched from his porch, smirking. He knew this. He knew the cops wouldn't handcuff a guy in a $2,000 suit for cutting wood. After the cop left, Sterling walked over to the fence. He pulled his checkbook out of his pocket. "You're making a big deal out of nothing," he said, scribbling. He tore off a check and flicked it through the fence. It landed in the dirt. "Here's $500. Buy some nice shrubs. Go to Home Depot. Stop crying." I picked up the check. I looked at it. $500. Memo, yard cleanup. He thought he had won. He thought I was just some sentimental neighbor who would take the cash and plant a few hydrangeas. He didn't know who I was. I went inside and made a phone call, not to a lawyer yet, but to my colleagues. I am a board-certified master arborist. I testify in court cases regarding tree value. I know tree law better than I know my own siblings, and Mr. Sterling had just made the most expensive mistake of his life. The next day, my team arrived. We didn't bring chainsaws. We brought lasers, calipers, and drones. We treated it like a murder scene. We measured the diameter of the stumps. Average DBH, diameter at breast height, 62 inches. We analyzed the growth rings. Age, approximately 105 years. We documented the species, Quercus alba, high value. In tree law, you don't pay for the timber value, you pay for the replacement cost. You cannot buy a 100-year-old oak at a nursery. So we use the trunk formula method. Base value per square inch of trunk area, multiplied by species classification, multiplied by condition, multiplied by location. I ran the numbers. The value of one tree wasn't $100, it was $32,000. Multiplied by 5 trees, $160,000. But I wasn't done. I dug up the state statutes, State Code Section 33(4), wrongful injury to timber. If the damage is accidental, you pay the value. If the damage is intentional and malicious, meaning you were told not to do it and did it anyway, the court awards triple damages. Triple. $160,000 times 3. We were looking at $480,000. I filed the lawsuit the next morning. 6 months later, the deposition. Sterling showed up with a flashy lawyer who tried to bully me. Mr. Plaintiff, the lawyer sneered. These were wild trees. They grew from acorns for free. How can you justify demanding $500,000 for firewood? I leaned into the microphone. I was in my element. They aren't firewood, they're assets, just like your client's house is an asset. If I burned down his house, would you accept the value of the raw bricks and cement, or would you demand the market value of the home? The lawyer stuttered. Then I played the ace card. Furthermore, I continued, I have proof of malice. I projected the screenshot of my text messages to Sterling from months ago. Me, do not touch those trees. They are on my land. Sterling, we'll see. Then I held up the plastic bag containing his $500 check. And here is his attempt to buy my silence for a felony amount of property damage. The judge was visibly angry. Judges hate arrogance. The ruling came down fast. Sterling was found liable for intentional trespass and destruction of property. The judge awarded full replacement value plus triple damages. Total judgment $480,000 plus my legal fees. Sterling didn't have $500,000 cash. He was leveraged to the hilt on his loans. The court placed a lien on his property. To pay me, he had to sell the house. The house with the $1 million view? It went on the market. I watched the for sale sign go up from my kitchen window. He moved out 2 months later. He wouldn't even look at me. The new owners are a young couple. They love nature. With the settlement money, I started a massive restoration project. I planted 5 new white oak saplings exactly where the old ones stood. They're small now. I won't live to see them reach full size, but my grandchildren will. And in the meantime, I have a nice view of the lake, but I'd trade it all in a heartbeat to have my giants back. Don't mess with tree law.